わさびアニメすごいですね。
Oh, we're live. Okay.
Oh my
Sorry. Our producer literally was doing a 5-second countdown and went 5, 1.
Yeah,
She
he went to school
And
in
we're-
Florida, so
And we're all trying to plan like, okay, let's all be in a cool position when everything comes on. But 5 and 1 was not what we were expecting. Anyway, welcome to the third episode of Convention Nerds, the convention podcast where we talk to other professionals in the consumer-focused media show industry about running their events. My name is Tom Croom. In 2001, I started an anime club to impress a girl, and it did work because we've now been together 20 years and married for over half of that. So the moral of the story is, if you like anime and you find somebody who likes anime too, make sure you lie and say that you too like Sailor Moon. During watching those episodes on VHS, I wound up going to an anime convention in Orlando, Florida called JCon, the Japanese Animation Convention. And that's where I met the guy to my side, Ken, Joey Snackpants Nabbe. Go ahead.
Hey, Tom, it's Ken Nabbe. Yes, Tom and I met back in 2000 when we founded JCon, the University of Central Florida campus. I was an offshoot of the Japanese Animation Club of Orlando, which had been on the UCF campus for almost a decade at that point. And Tom showed up to many Transformers panels and corrected me over and over and over again. So, of course, then we recruited him into our masses, and then he shut off to his own group. So now we're here talking about conventions and stuff and things and junk
and as
in the crazy world we live in.
I wore something festive, which is here's my sweater I could find.
I don't think we're gonna be able to beat last week's coordination, Tom. So.
Hey, you'd be amazed at the crap in my closet. Because we're welcoming tonight. Say hello to the team from Holiday Matsuri. Let's give them a golf clap, round of applause. Gentlemen, if you could introduce yourselves.
Hey, everybody. Thank you guys so much for bringing us on your stream. Tom, Ken, you guys are doing a great job. I've watched a few of your streams now, and thank you guys for providing something to the community during this pandemic and during everything. Bring some lightness and brightness to the community so everyone has something to look forward to, and remember that conventions are a thing. We'll be out of this craziness soon, and next year should be, hopefully, a whole ton of fun. My name is Gregory Smith, and I am the one of the owners, one of the founders, and the director of Holiday Matsuri. All right. This is Zach.
My name is Zachary Silvestri. I am the director of operations for Holiday Matsuri. I've been director of operations since 2016 when we actually made it official that I was director of programming and then transitioned to director of operations. My responsibilities involve making sure that I can translate Greg and that the convention doesn't explode from the inside out. Basically I'm the central point of contact for a lot of different people and making sure that things go well. And making sure that this year and next year go off without a hitch. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I've always been of the belief that a concierge job ends when the doors open, and then the director of operations gets to deal with everything from that point onward.
Oh, my job begins and doesn't end.
Right.
Well, let's go over. I mean, just normally we go over the basics at this point, but because you guys are a local convention, we're gonna kind of shift this in a different direction. So local for us. We're local for me because Ken's escaped the COVID crockpot and now lives in Georgia.
By a little bit.
Yeah, just not by much. It's
4 hours.
You're a little close to the edge over there, and Atlanta's not doing all that well.
Yeah, we're that island inside the great state of Georgia.
So occasionally I do a panel at conventions, which I call a history, not the history, a history of anime fandom in Florida. And the reason is because there's so many variations of, histories told by those who are still alive and standing, I can't even tell. I try to bring up orange anime as an element in the story and nobody knows what the hell that is anymore. So the earliest days, and I'm going to go through my knowledge of the DNA and occasionally I trip up and Ken corrects me, but the oldest goes back to sci-fi clubs in Florida, kind of like the Necronomicon area, stuff like that,
Mhm.
had anime that would show up at their events. It would be
Right.
the creepy guy with a VHS tape.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, the old
then
CFO days. Yeah.
Yep. And then so they would start and doing, I'm going further back. They would do
Okay.
at college campuses, start dubbing and fan dubbing
Mhm.
episodes. And
Mhm.
UCF is one of the two kind of early DNA points, that in Southern California, for where a lot of fan subs came from a
Okay.
program called JACO Sub, which was
Right.
the Japanese Animation Club of Orlando. So if you had to find in the crock pot of the stew of anime fandom in Florida, you kind of start with JACO. And then
Okay.
JACO, through a series of dramatic instances, begat a second group that called themselves Anime Sushi. Then
Okay.
a second group from Anime Sushi begat a third group called Anime Gaijin America. So you had three entities that were all clubs. Two
Mhm.
of these entities decided to start their own convention because the second entity, Sushi, had kind of taken over from JACO to do anime at MegaCon. So
Okay.
the same year you had JCon begin, which was 2000,
Mhm.
and within a couple
September
of months of each
2000,
other,
yeah.
yep, you had Anime Festival Orlando both start that same year. Meanwhile,
Okay.
this third group is running that. So there's your core DNA, and from there we can find out of those three parents, the Adam and Eves, basically, we can kind of
Yeah.
draw a chart to everything in Florida connecting somehow. You can go from because out of AFO technically is where Wasabi Anime came from.
Okay.
Because I, basically co-ran the second AFO, and then afterwards, like I don't want to do this anymore. Took the people from there and started my own club, which
Okay.
eventually wound up helping and running a large portion of JCon years later, and then
Mhm.
Florida Anime Experience Bowl. So if you went through the Anime Sushi, JCO, Anime Gaijin America, Adam and Eve story, how in that generational would you walk yourselves back with Holiday at Matsuri? Where would you guys fall into that timeline, you feel?
So I was one of those that started watching anime when I was younger and didn't know it was anime until later when people were like, "Oh, that's a thing called this," and my friends were like, "Oh, wow, that's cool." Like, my first shows that I watched were probably like, of course, like everyone, like the older Dragon Ball Z, the Akira was one of my favorite movies growing up, like as a little kid. And then Trigun was probably the first time that it was like, hey, this is anime. And I'm like, what? Like, there's like a whole culture for this. And then that's when I started like
Mhm.
diving into everything.
Everybody pause.
Oh, we're pausing.
Technical difficulties. Pause.
Mhm.
Pause. I have to go back to an
Okay.
old Daniel. Again, Danielle. Oh, really? Okay, so we're good.
Unst.
All right. So
That's why we're
Greg,
live.
Yes.
Live.
So Greg was talking about the Toonami era and watching Trigun.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And my first, like I saw people making like all cool kids at that time infecting my computer with anime AMVs through Napster, LimeWire, and so I was like, I'm going to try my own type of AMV, and I used basically like 3 VHSs to put them in and try to record onto one thing, going back and forth, and I didn't know how to get my voice on it, so I ended up getting like this little CD tape player that I had and like recorded over it, and then was so proud of myself. I like brought it to school and showed everyone. Everyone's like, dude, what the heck is this? Like I had no idea how to like put all that stuff together. So fast forward going through high school, my little brother actually was starting to go to these conventions, and because I was old enough to drive, I was tasked with taking him to them. And so I
Okay.
think the first two events that like I actually went to that I understood this is a convention was actually JCon and AFO. I don't remember which one was the first one I ended up going to, but I didn't really understand still that they were actually conventions. It wasn't until I went to my first MegaCon that I understood, oh, this is actually a giant meetup and everything. Like, this is
Mhm.
actually really cool. So then I proceeded to just check out other cons and everything. And then basically going into college, I still continued going to conventions. I had like a background, was studying film at that time, and that's where I met my significant other, Crystal. Crystal was focused more, like, I was into anime, but I was mostly into the gaming side of everything, and she was like all anime with like a decent amount of gaming into stuff. And so again, we were just like, hey, conventions are cool, this stuff's cool. We ended up, hooking up and being together. And then around 2011 is when we started Holiday Matsuri. And it was more like we were part of another group that had started and was like, hey, we want to do this convention thing, but we kind of really don't know what we're doing. And so
Mhm.
Crystal and I joined with the idea of like, hey, we'll help out, we'll do things. And we really didn't have like know anybody really at that time. And so as we were just going to conventions, she used her design background to make some cards. We just brought her, we brought a bunch of our friends dressed up as the mascot, and we started just going to conventions saying, hey, we're going to do this convention. And then people started meeting with us like, hey, do you know what you're doing? Do you know anything? Like, who are you
Well,
guys? Who are you
let me
part
catch
of?
you off in the story here real quick. At what point and what led to the decision to do it around a holiday theme? If
Yeah,
I'm assuming that
because
came up then.
Okay, yeah, my
yeah,
bad. I kind of like skipped over
well,
that whole thing.
JCon, we
Yeah.
had talked about moving to to December for years because
Okay.
June in Florida was never fun. We were June
Yeah, no.
every damn year.
Well,
No.
if you remember 2010, 11, around those times, like there were cons on top of cons on top of
Mhm.
cons, like
Mhm.
That's why we
every
stopped.
single weekend. Like,
It's like
like we couldn't
2.5
go
cons
to
per
enough
week.
conventions.
Right.
Like we were like we started having to like pick and choose. We were like, holy crap, we didn't realize how many conventions there were out there. And I believe Anime Cons online was around at that time, and so we were kind of like looking at the ones around us that we could immediately go to, the ones in Georgia, the ones here. Like my first Dragon Con, I was just like so overwhelmed because I'd only been to so many more events. Like I'd only been to MegaCon a few times, so it was mostly like AFO, JCon a few times, and then like EXP Con, like a bunch of the smaller events. And
Mhm.
then so that was a big overwhelming experience for me, but it was a lot of fun. What happened is we were trying to figure out, okay, well, if we're going to run an event, when's it going to be? And we looked at the whole list of where cons are, and we're like, all right, everyone's in the summer, everyone's here, everyone's here. It's like the only place that literally didn't have a convention was in December.
Mhm.
And it was just kind of like, well, why is there no event in December? Like the only events that were there around that we knew of was like the like ones near the end of the month doing like New Year's. And so we're
Yeah.
like, well, let's do a giant nerd holiday party. Oh, that sounds great. Well, how are we going to come up with the name? We came up with holiday. Okay, holiday needs to be in it because it's fun.
Mhm.
And we were like, Crystal, what is, party in Japanese? And she's like, Matsuri. And we're like, cool. That was like holiday Matsuri, like 2 minutes. We came up with the name. And that's kind of like how that ended up getting started because we love the community and we wanted to be a part of it. And honestly, like the main thing was kind of like we saw that time of the year was really like empty for a time of the year where people could like meet up, gather, share their love for this for anime, for that type of culture, for everything into there. So we really
Mhm.
focused hard on the anime, the gaming, and we've tried to bring in what sci-fi we could at that time. And then it just ended up being more anime and gaming from then on out. And
No,
yeah, that
no.
was basically how it all ended up starting. Our love of like honestly going to AFO and MegaCon, and then all of our friends that helped to run different events and stuff is what we ended up kind of like made us interested in even running an event.
Now, Zach, when did you get involved in this?
So Zach,
So
real quick, let me preface this.
okay,
Okay.
Dot, dot,
all
dot.
right. He wants to be the story master on this thing.
Yeah. Now this is going to be
Although
the
you have to remove the
G-rated version.
expletives on
Yep.
this
We got to
probably.
remove the expletive. So, I had a film and video background, and I helped direct fashion shows, and Crystal had the background in um performance, music, and the anime side of everything. So what happened was like there I'm just going to admit it to everybody. I don't mind. I was really bad at scheduling, like actually putting together a schedule. Like even my own personal schedule can't ever, like, I need people to help me with just like, I don't know,
It's not any better yet.
Excel. I know. I completely admit it. I have literally like 2 assistants that help me, member things and do stuff. So, because I'll just get hyper focused on things and might honestly, like, I was so in touch with some of the stuff. I ended up one year scheduling 5 Homestuck panels back to back, and I didn't understand that they were all
It's a block.
the same thing.
It's Homestuck. It's Holiday
became
Homestuck
a
Con
giant-
inside
Yep.
of Holiday Matsuri.
That actually
Exactly.
was a joke, I think.
That
One
was-
of the years. It was just like,
I
oh,
have
it's
nothing-
Homestuck holiday.
Homestuck-a-palooza.
Oh, I saw Momocon said hi. Hi, Momocon. We love them. I watched your guys' stream. They are so amazing. So, sorry to throw that. So, anyways, back to one year, which when we moved to the Carib, and
The Carib.
that was like our dream hotel. We wanted to always be there. We didn't expect to get there so quickly, and I'm like running through the halls. I think on Saturday, just my mind is blitzed. I'm just don't know time at that point, and I'm still running around. And Zach just like, I don't know, points me out. I don't even know how, because I probably forget my staff badge, like most times.
You
But
actually were known through another friend, and so
Oh,
the thing
okay.
was that someone pointed you out and was like, "Hey,
Oh, that's Greg.
Yeah.
And so as I'm going through, Zach goes, "Hey, are you Greg?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Are you the guy who runs Holiday Matsuri?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he's like, "Your effing panel schedules suck." And I was just like, "Thanks, bro. Like, I'm tired.
Nice to
I'm
meet you too.
Crazy." Yeah, exactly. Nice
I like your
icebreaker. And I honestly told him, I'm like, "Well, if you think you could do a better job, why don't you just do it?" And he goes, "Okay, I will." And Zach, I'll let you continue.
That sounds like
that
is quite literally like the probably the creation story of at least 75% of all high level staffers within any pop culture event. Of the, you think you could do better? Yeah.
Right.
So,
Okay, yeah, here you go.
Here, do it.
Here, you'll stop whining if I give it to you, right?
So yeah,
exactly. That's the second step. Yeah, exactly. Over the next few months, Zach was just like after Hallmark, I hibernate for like 2 months. I literally because August, we all know 6 months before your event, it's like bam, 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 bam. So I was hibernating. He was messaging me, and eventually I was like, fine, like, okay, sup, dude, let's do this thing here. And he starts.
You're actually mixing up a few of the things.
Dude.
So, okay,
probably. That's why Zach's here. Go ahead, man.
All right. So the thing was the backstory on this was that I actually never been to Hallmat before that year. Like people have said, like I've been offered to go a few times, but every time.
Well, let's set a framework like we did with Gregory real quick. Prior to Hallmat, what cons had you been to?
So I had been to Mega Convention, most of the conventions, like I think it was like MegaCon's 5th year when I finally joined, like was like there, and I was like fascinated because I'm like fascinated with watching how people acted.
Under which ownership?
I can't even remember.
I was like, how old are you? Like, because you had been like 5.
Yeah,
No, I don't even remember.
I like how we've confused Tom and Ken on our age.
It was 2007, I think, was the year that I.
Yeah, because we were running anime at MegaCon in '96.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like the thing is I would have been 11 at that point in time. So
exactly.
So the thing was so it's like 2006, 2007, somewhere around there, when like someone invited me to go, and I was like, wow, this is some interesting thing. Because the thing is that like I've known anime for a while because my friends have been anime, but we didn't go to conventions. Like the thing was that we just kind of kept to ourselves. We did card games and things like that. Like I had watched the first Toonami series on Cartoon Network, and I was fast. That was a thing that like hooked me in. Dragon Ball Z, Gundam, all of the Trigun, all of those old stuff that like people were like, what is this stuff? What is this Toonami thing? And that's what I got into. And when I got to Mega Convention, it was like MegaCon 2007. And it was really cool. A lot of people were around, and there's not much as cosplay as much as it is now, but the people were doing it. And it was just fascinating because you'd have some people that were like had no idea why they were there and they were around. You had some people that were like, they were really into it, they knew what they were doing. And then you had like the people that were like somewhere in the middle trying to determine if they were like going to evacuate or not. And the thing was is that like I kept on going to mega conventions for a few times, and I met some people through the actual tabletop stuff because I was really into D&D, and then through that I like helped organize that thing, and I got some more friends outside of that, which transitioned me into anime. And I learned, and I met my then girlfriend, which she was like, hey, we want to do a Ruby panel in for Holiday Matsuri 2015. And I was like, all right, well, what do you guys got? And they had nothing. They had absolutely nothing.
Well, that's
like
a panel. Come on, Zach, that's a panel.
They wanted to do a Ruby panel, and that was it. And I was like,
They had a title.
Whoa, no, Tom.
they didn't have a title. They did not have a title.
On a ponies panel at Gen Con with absolutely no prep.
Zero knowledge of my.
He's like, hey, you're on the ponies panel. I'm like, I haven't watched a single episode. Go for it.
Yeah. So it's 2015, and so the thing was is that all right, I get everybody together, like I get everybody in one room and be like, okay, we got to plan this, we got to figure out what we're going to do with this one. And I'm basically the person that's like, okay, let's decide the schedules and things like that. And so when we get to the convention, we have the panel and everything like that. I noticed the schedule is basically right on top of each other. I mean, literally each panel is like this. And so we're trying to be like,
it's because we had only like 5 panel rooms or 4 panel rooms, it worked. But then it was like, I don't know, 10 or 12 panel rooms that year.
It was 6. It was 6 panel rooms.
Call me out. Thanks, man. Thanks, brother.
That
sound was a bus running over me. We put too much amongst
You guys
us.
are as great as our producer with numbers. Yeah. Remember, 5, 1. Right.
So the thing was is that I was looking at the schedule. I was like, oh man, like I really gotta like help this guy out because it's like obviously some kind of scheduling thing.
So 6 panel rooms, but how many viewing rooms?
I think we had 1 or 2 at that time,
maybe,
because we were trying to fill up all their rooms.
Yeah, I didn't
5. There was 5. Yeah, 5.
Okay. Like we didn't have like 2015 didn't have like a lot of the a lot of the space, but then 2016 they gave us a lot of like the left center. But the thing was is that like so I go up to Greg and like that's what it was. And so after that like he's like I didn't want to bother him because obviously I was like he's probably like dying from Holiday Matsuri. And my girlfriend at the time was like, well, he's also going to this other conventions because he's also selling this energy drink stuff. I was like, okay, that's a great time for me to kind of hang out with him.
Yeah, I'd go.
I remember when you were doing that. Actually,
yeah,
I totally remember you doing that.
Yeah, and so I go to the convention and I'm like, hey, listen, I talked to you at there and you said that like you think you could do better. Do you think you could do better? I was like, yeah, and so you were like, all right. Well, message me and we'll go ahead and get everything started. So like you get busy again for like the next 2 to 3 weeks, but I keep on messaging you, kind of reminding you. And finally you're like, all right, well, you think you could do the panel thing? I've transitioned the person that's doing panel coordinator over to another position and I'd like you to do that. So I take over that. Well, the thing is that I don't just do the panel stuff. Like I go in the group and I start answering questions, and I go up to Greg. It's like, hey, what's the answer to this question?
Oh, whoa! You made mistake number 101 of getting involved in an anime convention organization. Which is, I was brought in to do one job.
Yeah,
but
right.
I suddenly started helping with 3 others, not realizing that you now have 5 jobs.
Yeah, and so the thing was. And so the thing is that I start answering questions.
So I only had 12 at that time.
Exactly.
Okay. I started answering questions and people were like, oh, this guy's knowledgeable. He must be the owner. And they were like, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to answer questions. And I'm like, I know who the owner is. And so the thing is that also allows me to aggregate and keep it off of Greg's plate because everybody's asking questions. And when I get to the
also in the beginning just started like info spewing on Zach because I needed someone else to talk to.
I was translating him and like organizing it into things that I was like, all right, here's the document,
can we do this? And he's like, yeah. Can we do this? Hey, I'll find a way. And he's also a lot of our staff, the top ones like Zach are like all like Excel gods. And so I was he just impressed me with Excel alone. I was like, wow, like the stuff do. Holy crap.
He could do VLOOKUP.
Ooh,
right.
Okay. So talking about stats and information, let's go back to some core information here real quick. So so the first Holiday Matsuri you said was in 2011, right?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
That was 2 years after JCon ended.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, because JCon was 2009.
Mhm.
So you
I think
started
we
the
were
same.
an art. My girlfriend and I was an artist at the last JCon that year. That it felt like
Endgame.
5
JCon
hurricanes were
X
there. Yeah, it was a
Endgame.
good
JCon
one.
X.
Yeah.
You guys are like
Yeah.
showing your age over here.
Exactly. So let's talk. So the last Hall Mat happened December of last year.
Mhm.
How many attendees did you have that year? Like ballpark. How many people?
Our first year for Hallmat in 2011,
Mhm.
we had just about 1,200 attendees that year. So
Yeah.
we were
Mhm.
really excited. That was really cool. We actually really didn't know what to expect. But now I'll transition because Zach is our numbers guy. I'm just going to let him, go ahead, Zach. How many?
So
I know it was
we've-
just shy of 11,000.
Yeah,
Oh.
until 2018, we've been increasing at about 24% year over year of increase. So we haven't released our official numbers of 2018 and 19, but yeah, we keep on increasing every year, and we're a lot larger than we used to be in terms of size. Obviously, we're at the Orange County, the Orlando World Center Marriott now, and they love us. I mean, every single one of the staff is over there, loves us over there. We take over the.
It's a very large property with a nightmare in parking, but
Yes.
once you're inside, it's beautiful.
We do our very best. We we try to do as much as we can to make parking as easy for everyone as possible.
Yeah.
So, but
So
yeah, I think we were
when you're saying what 12,000, is that turnstile or unique noses?
close to, I know it was close to 11,000 last year. I think it was like 10,700 and something. So we were just shy of it. I tend to, Zach, do you remember what our turnstile was effectively? I think it was something around 24 to 29 or something.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
have to look back at it.
That's generally the math is 2.5 on a three days. If your
Mhm.
core is 10, then you're about 25 thou.
I know that we've like non-turnstile, we have broken the 10K mark. Like I know that has been done. So I would have to look back at all of the numbers, but yeah,
Zach doesn't like to give definitive answers if we don't have the exact.
I don't like giving it an accurate number. The thing is that
less than Anime Expo, but more than Orlando Anime Day.
Yeah,
exactly.
In 2005, we stopped giving out specific numbers. And then we didn't actually start publishing numbers until after we ended the event in 2009, because those years between 2005 and 2009, it just became very much and Tom and I made jokes about it. We felt we had bean counters and auditors at events.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So Tom and I had a running joke in 2006 regarding how many people were there during the Wasabi Anime musical.
They were, and at that point, it's like a moot point then. But during that period of time, again, you're still in the kind of G1 period of conventions, and other conventions that started after AFO and JCon, which technically weren't even the first anime cons. It was it was Anime Express in Daytona.
Yeah.
And at that point, everybody was doing we're the largest anime con. Well, we're the largest, and we're like, and JCon just kind of hit that point of, we're effing huge. We just don't care. So you guys can fight it out. And then people would come going, well, we counted the seats and we took photos, and we're like,
oh my goodness.
Congratulations.
We just don't like the we don't like the largest or things we just want to put on a really awesome event. Like we track the numbers, and I track the numbers very well just for like the stakes on like a financial side.
Right.
I would rather put on a really good event that everybody's like, no, I had an awesome time. Like, I want to go back next year and everything like that. And that's what we'd strive for, is people coming up to me on Sunday night and being like, Zach, that was an amazing event. I can't wait for next year. I've already started the countdown. I got my hotel ready and everything like that. And it's like, that's what I strive for. I think that's what everybody strives for. Like having a lot of event people there, that's great. Having an amazing event, that's even better.
Now, in 2000, at the last JCon, I had a panel that was just me as a talking head, basically saying what Ken does during the day, because a lot of people thought that I did it for a living, and it was very much. It was always my second job. It was as soon as it became my job is when I went, okay, we're done. Spending more time on my accountant than anything else. Tom, this is Tom's career. I have a day job. I just do this
Okay.
part-time. Is this you, Greg, Zach? Is this your primary job these days, or is it still a side hustle?
Do you have a Bruce Wayne, or are you strictly Batman?
I have a joke going with Greg is that Hallmat can't afford me. I'm a programmer.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah.
Where I was
So
like, I can't
make-
afford Zach, so I
Yeah.
don't pay him.
So
That type of thing.
So the thing is that like I do this in between my actual job of being a
Right.
programmer, and
Mhm.
I mean anybody that's kind of in the anime cons knows that it's not really your primary most of the time. So
Yeah.
I mean the people that are up the top, I'm still doing 3,000 hours of Fallmat every year. So
Right. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
still
It's
side
like
thing.
triple overtime. So
Yeah.
yeah, outside of Hallmat, I do real estate. So I sell a lot of real estate in Orlando, Florida. We just opened up our own brokerage, my real estate partner and I, right in January, right before COVID hit and
Perfect timing.
everything. We were like, yeah, that's when we'll break away from where we've been at for 5 years. We're going to start our own brokerage. And luckily, it's actually been doing really well. You would think it would be the opposite during COVID, but it was like a lot of a lot of people that were just looky loos, or a lot of the agents basically stopped going out. We were considered an essential business, so we were very safe about it. We had a lot of new laws and everything that I'm really thankful that they implemented, because it definitely made it a lot safer for us to be out there and to bring clients, meet with clients. And I'm so glad like everyone's like willing to wear a mask, do one at a time going through each home. But yeah, I do real estate during the day. I've helped a whole ton of our staff and attendees find homes that they're looking to buy, sell, or invest.
Interesting, because like
Yeah.
real estate traditionally is a side hustle for people as well.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
you
No.
side hustles.
No, I do. I like to keep busy and do a lot of different things, and so, but like real estate's one of those things. So I'm opening. We started the office here. We're starting another office in Orlando,
Mhm.
and just because like I do so many, it's better to back and forth, and we're getting some awesome people joining both brokerages. So if you guys are, hey, I can never not put the spot out there. So it's like if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in
Hey,
real estate in
Greg's
Florida,
gotta
please
shill
let
it
me know.
out.
I know somebody. Yeah.
My day job is I now have an OnlyFans, so
Oh,
that's how I'm
nice.
sustaining myself.
I'm actually
between conventions.
one of the top 5 donators to it. So
Oh,
it's
well,
all good,
hey,
man. There you go.
Hey,
I'll send you my link later.
It's an
Greg,
OnlyFans that's just
XXX,
showing
Greggy,
the
Greggy,
fans.
Greg.
classy comment.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
But when people ask, I say I'm an accountant.
Yeah,
Exactly. No one questions you when you're an accountant.
Yeah, I didn't-
Yeah,
I didn't-
exactly.
I didn't work a single day from home through this entire process. So I've been an essential worker from the beginning.
Right.
And traversing every day. Traditionally, Tom would rescue me and send me to Edmonton or Indianapolis, or I would disappear to downtown Atlanta for a weekend. And it's really been, oh, is this my house?
Yeah,
Is this
right.
what the 4 walls look like on the weekends? Oh, crap.
Mine is the king of first world problems, which is
Yeah,
I travel extensively for work.
Yeah,
right.
I'm supposed to have been at 8 conventions so far. The last time I was on a plane was January 6th, and I'm not gonna
Isn't
lie,
that
this is
weird?
the
Yeah,
first
it's
time
very
in 4 or 5
strange,
years.
yeah.
It's extremely strange, but that's why we adapt and come up with other projects like this one, which
Good
getting back to
segue,
the
Tom.
Yeah, thank you. So going back to the holiday aspect, what is the most holidayest thing you've done? An event, a presentation, something at Holiday Matsuri? Like what's the thing you go, hey, we're a holiday con, and this year we did, Santa Claus, we kidnapped him from the North. Like, what's the most holiday thing you think you guys have ever done at the con?
Well, honestly, one of the most, I would say like my most I'm going to tell you 2 things. So one is my most
Okay.
important thing that I'm really proud of at Holiday Matsuri is since our first year, we've always hosted the benefit ball,
Yeah.
which
Mhm.
was we separate, we take time out of our main events and we turn it into a giant like holiday party, holiday prom type thing, and it goes to benefit a charity in the community. The past couple of years, we've been doing working with. Give Kids the World?
Give Kids
Did I
the
say the
World.
right one, or Make a Wish?
Yep.
I always mix up the two because I volunteered for them a lot since I was really little. I had a older sister that passed away due to rhabdomyosarcoma, which was a cancer in the in your muscles and in your bones and stuff. And so I've always been volunteering was always a big thing for me. So I always know though, like as time was taking away from me due to college, due to work and everything, I was like,
Right.
I couldn't give as much time or give back to it as much as I wanted to. So as soon as we were starting the holiday Matsuri, I was like, you know what, I want to make sure that like I might not be able to do it myself or do as much myself, but we could do a whole ton more through the event.
Right.
And so we started, we added the benefit ball in there, and it's a whole lot of fun. It's like the entire holiday Matsuri, all of it feels like a giant, nerd, geek, and gamer holiday party. That's kind of like where I like to dilute it, right? Like really make a focus there, and I try to cancel as many of the events around it as possible to push as many people there. And it's just a great way to help the community. We make sure there's hot cocoa and cookies, and then we just have a whole lot of fun at it. So that was like something near and dear to my heart that like is the most holiday thing that I could put into holiday Matsuri. So the other thing I was going to bring up, I forgot that this was the first year we were going to be doing it. So I don't know if I can talk about it. So
Zach, can he talk about it?
Zach,
I don't think he would.
He would have to.
There's too
message
many
the-
new weird things here. Let me message.
You would have to
Zach.
message me to make sure.
It has to deal with specific guests and voice actors too. So
I would
want
say
to.
no.
Okay. We'll leave it for next year as we get
So
closer.
technically, you guys are confirming that you booked Santa Claus. I understand. Completely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep. You caught us.
All right.
Red bagged handed. So.
Yeah.
But
So
I like to try
the Christmas theme. It was at the benefit ball. You do things like hot chocolate, you said, and cookies.
Mhm.
What else at your con do you do that impacts attendees that versus, like you said, you guys have gone to MegaCon a lot and you went to AFO, and JCon. What other elements to the show do you do to impress upon them that this is, instead of another convention, it's a holiday convention?
The holiday theme of everything. We try to inject it into as many parts of the convention as possible.
Yeah.
So we have the holiday runway contest, which is a cosplay runway style contest where at that time when 2011, when we started, all the conventions were like a lot of the contests like Crystal was entering, a lot of ones we noticed it was all very strict on like, the craftsmanship. You can't enter unless you're certain, have certain, areas or you're at certain skill levels and stuff like that. And so we wanted that event there because we wanted the appreciation for it. But we also wanted one where if you just wanted to wrap yourself up in Christmas paper and jump up on stage and get your 15 seconds of fame, you could do so. And
Man,
so,
Tom, it reminds me of some of your costumes.
I too have wrapped myself in a lot of paper for the sake of the cosplay arts.
Very good. That's good. Glad you're involved in it.
Tom had the best enterprise cosplay of all time.
The what?
Best enterprise cosplay.
Enterprise costume.
Oh my God, I forgot it. Mid 2000s, when you guys are getting into this, we so remember anime was still trying to show up everywhere that wasn't
Become
normal.
a thing.
We
Right.
started showing up, and we would run anime at Star Trek conventions in
Oh
the
my
90s
goodness.
and 2000s.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
that used to be our
We
big
hit the
thing.
mines
I mean,
there.
we spent more time at Volcon promoting Jayco than anything else.
Yeah.
We'd be at
And
Volcon.
Volcon was the big brand down here.
Mhm.
And they ran for years. Like I went to my first Volcon like 1989, 1990.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
they were a legacy show.
Yeah.
So we wound up going when Enterprise had taken off and it was on the air. I went with a friend of mine and we entered the costume contest. Now, have either of you guys ever watched Enterprise before?
Mhm.
Okay. So in Enterprise, the strange thing about it versus the other Star Trek shows is when you beam, you just beam in Star Trek. But in this one, you had to go through all this cleaning and stuff like that. And it was basically the TV
Mhm.
station excuse to get people in their underwear. So I went out with my friend John and we bought the tank top and the boxer briefs,
Mhm.
got NX01 hats and entered the costume contest and stood in line dressed the entire thing. And like, what are you doing? Like, Enterprise cadets. That's all we put down. They're like, we need more. I'm like, trust me, this is our costume. They're like, okay, you guys are funny. Got right before going on stage, took off all of our clothes except for our underwear, walked up on stage and entered and said, yes, we just beamed aboard the ship. Thank you. I was younger and much thinner then, so it was actually something to look at. And we did actually win and placed in the costume contest. So
Nice. Congratulations to that. That's
Tank
cool.
tops and boxer shorts. Squint it.
yeah,
Nice.
I can win a costume contest wearing boxer shorts and a tank top and hat. But
That's really cool.
yeah, okay. So you have
With the holiday runway
Yep.
contest, everyone started making holiday versions of their characters at the
Okay.
convention as their different cosplay. So
Ah.
now you would wear your tank tops and boxer briefs like you did, and you put like a bow on your head.
bow
or
on my
maybe-
head. Okay, perfect.
exactly.
Yeah.
Whatever you felt your desire was that you could impress upon that your
Create a
character, the holiday
festive
version
time.
of your character. Yeah. So like we joked around for a little bit that we were the only convention that didn't have two of the same Deadpools, because everyone has everyone has their own interpretation on winter holidays, and we weren't making it just exclusive to Christmas. Any winter holiday can
because
definitely
your
be
holiday
included
months.
in
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
we made sure that like that was the main thing. We try not to say like Christmas anywhere as we can, other than like a holiday party or Christmas party, that type of thing. But so you had like, I saw there was a whole Star Trek crew that came to Holiday Matsuri one year, and each crew member was a different holiday, and there were 7 of them, and they just covered each one of them. I was like, this is amazing, this is awesome. And so it's some of my favorite things. Like I remember like the first year, there's a cosplayer that's on the scene. His name is Zach, and he always cosplays Zach from Final Fantasy. Oh no, his name's Mark. My bad, dude. I just called him Zach. And
Looking at
I'm
Zach,
like, he didn't
thinking
do
of
Zach
but
from
I
Save
just-
for the Bell.
yeah, right. But like at every con, he wears his Zach cosplay, and then at Hallmat he wore it, and he just like tricked it out holiday style with a wrapped Buster sword, bells on it. It was amazing. And so I just remember I remember when like Attack on Titan first came out, and everyone was making like Christmas boxes, and the knives were like candy canes.
Oh, Jesus,
So
God.
yeah,
Funny.
and so like that's one of my favorite things, is just seeing everyone's interpretation on it, just having a good time and like enjoying having fun. Like they see their favorite character, but now they see it in a different aspect, and they're like, oh, let's talk about it. And it's so fun to see those and listen to those conversations go
Well,
on.
And I think you guys tapped into something that inherently was already there to a degree, especially with an anime fandom.
Mhm.
Using Gynax as a perfect example,
Okay.
each year they would put out a Evangelion Asuka Ray Christmas edition statue,
Yep.
and
Oh,
they were,
okay.
they were
Rinse,
officially
repeat.
licensed. Yep.
Mhm.
And then you have your Sailor Moon Christmas episode. So there are a lot of elements like that there were already the holiday versions of a lot of these things.
Right. There's
Oh,
always
yeah.
like a
Face it.
Christmas special or
We're,
something.
we're just the
Yeah.
crazy enough people to do things in December.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the trick is I would get, if you go to Dragon Con is a perfect example, because Dragon Con is a huge cosplay event. You wouldn't necessarily go, hey, this is the year I'm going to do holiday Asuka.
Right,
And I think you
right.
guys kind of cornered that
Mhm.
market of, hey, because we're, a niche of a niche, basically.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that people will now, and you guys can confirm again, Zach, this is gonna be a data question for you. I mean, how many people are local versus how many actually travel? Because
Yeah.
as far as I know, knowing you guys for years, I know people that travel to your show specifically for the excuse of, one, I'm going to go do something in Orlando around Christmas, because
Right.
we all know there's tons of stuff to do here. But number two, it's my excuse to do exactly what Zachary's describing, which is I have holiday Sailor Moon. I can't wear it to any show throughout the year, but this is the one time I can do it. And
Yeah.
I think that's
Mhm.
a lot of it.
Yeah,
How
there's-
many? So
Yeah.
yeah. What's your ratio ballpark?
So the demographics kind of have increased of being outside of Florida a lot more.
Mhm.
California is a big one. New York is a big one. Surprisingly, we get people from the EU a lot. We get all the way from Hawaii. We got some people over there. Actually, South America, we do get a lot of people.
We actually
coming
have
in
a lot of
South
people
America.
from Brazil.
Interesting.
A whole
Yeah.
group that comes over. People from
Interesting.
China and Russia.
Yeah,
So
it's increasing by like it's increasing every year. Like the percentages used to be like 1%, 2%, but
that
what
whole
we got it now, we're like at 8% now.
Now that whole
Mhm.
Brazilian, I mean, Tom, you remember your time at Universal, and
Yeah.
my 13 years at Disney. We had a very high quinceanera move, being celebrated in the parks
Mhm.
during the November.
Benchmark, did
December
either of
period.
you ever work in any of the theme parks?
yes.
Okay,
I
yeah.
have.
So you can get what we're talking about
I
with the
grew
Brazilian
up a
tour
Disney
groups.
brat, like all of everyone. My parents sold
Yeah.
timeshare. I was like I worked at SeaWorld and Universal, did Halloween Horror Nights and Hallow Scream. So I did all the fun stuff.
Okay.
Never really like worked at Disney, but family did.
So trying to look at it. So do you see a lot of where they would travel to the theme parks for a quinceanera, and then
Right.
do you see them like were they just tagging Holiday Matsuri onto that? Were they extending out to a extended vacation and going okay? Because you guys are the Carib Royale. I mean that's stone throws away from the
Yeah,
park. And then you
it's
guys were
actually
at the Marriott. I mean Marriott yet again. It's their primary.
actually the people that have been coming over. It's actually been the reverse, where they come to the Holiday Matsuri, but they stay later for Disney, and that's kind of the thing that
Interesting.
we actually say is it's like they will come for Holiday Matsuri, then they'll stay an extra 3 nights, so they'll go to the holiday stuff for Universal and Disney, which is a selling point also
Right,
for
yeah,
guests
yeah.
as well.
So, and you guys in the business know how important like hotel room nights are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And basically, how I feel it is definitely all the theme parks nearby allow people to want to turn it into a vacation. So like I'm going to go to a con and I'll have my vacation at the same time.
Well, let me ask this question then. So because you guys have experienced it with JCon and later with Florida and Experience, we always and in JCon was later years when we were closer to iDrive. Have you ever experienced the people are staying in the hotel on their vacation
The normies,
and then discover your event and go, oh, this isn't my hotel. Well, I guess let's buy a ticket and go here anyway.
People have done that. A lot of people have done that. Like I've seen entire conventions of people that have come in for another convention. They'd be like, what is all of this anime going around here? And they come in, they enjoyed their shelves. So
that's how I got introduced to my first Kiss convention.
Nice.
We were in a hotel in Virginia on a family vacation, and there was a big Kiss show going on in the convention center for the hotel. So I Kiss memorabilia across the board. So, but looking at the being in the whole Orlando area for 36 years of my life and watching the amount of hotel rooms that get sucked up during that period, that November to January 1. And the same kind of thing we had to deal with at WasabiCon when we had WasabiCon on the weekend of the Florida Georgia game. It was easy to find convention space, but very hard to get rooms at a decent rate.
Yeah.
You guys still deal with that same kind of thing? Or are you that deep in with the Marriott? I mean,
no.
there are 12. How many rooms does Marriott have these days?
It has 2,085.
Yeah, and it's like 2. Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure on at least we're pretty close to maxing it out all weekend.
Yeah,
pretty soon.
Last year we were at 75% of the hotel was us.
It's so weird when every hotel room is for your event and you're at one of those big ass hotels.
We just
it's one of those mind boggling. Then you realize exactly how much you can swing around. You realize everybody here is because I'm here.
Let's talk. It's fun. I mean, it's fun seeing that kind of stuff. I mean, they have to actually purposefully like jam the non-convention attendees in like a specific part so they'll stay away from us.
They don't complain about late night events and stuff.
Yeah, we would take over because JCon used to be at the campus of the UCF, and then Wasabi Anime when we were starting out. The hotel down the street, I think it was the Radisson by UCF.
Yeah, I remember that.
Would run the overnight stuff, and it'd be like, here's the overnight viewing room. And so Ken and the JCon team rented an entire floor of that because again, this is still early years growing, and you would go on that floor and know everybody on that floor had something to do with the con. And all I remember is one year the hotel screwing up and putting a non-convention person.
Oh no, a non-staffer. And I'm like, who's this guy? I know everybody on this floor. I paid for everybody on this floor. Who's this guy? And me and the hotel had a nice discussion about that. So but they were a convention-y. They actually ended up working for me later on. So
our goal with Hallmat on the growth side of things is we want to eventually take over the entire Marriott. Yeah, because once we can, then we can start doing some of the stuff we have to do that we could do like hosting later events, doing more pool parties, having more control on some of the apps. Exactly. So, we'll get there in due time. And we're so happy and blessed to have everyone that does come to the convention and that everyone enjoys it year after year. And, we're always like running around. I remember the first year Zach finally was like, he was kind of like, everyone knew he was like a lead position with me. Cause then I remember I was actually standing still, like taking a break. and I see him walk by with the zombie apocalypse of people hoarding after him for questions and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, that used to be me.
So much nicer when
You guys all
I am
feel
the
that way
zombie bait.
too.
That's another joke we have. I'm the zombie bait for Greg.
Yep, he's my zombie bait. I see, oh, there he goes. I go the other way, you know, that type of thing.
It's
So
at
it's the only
first.
way to cover more space. If we're too close, we don't see each other at all at the con practically.
Yeah.
Just because if we do, we're not doing our job. We need to be away taking care of stuff.
I knew we had crossed the threshold when the first year that I didn't have every answer, that I had delegated to the point where I really don't know that one. I'm going to need to talk to somebody. I need to find the guy that's in charge of that.
It's a nice feeling.
Okay, so the goal is to take over all of it, kind of a la like Dragon Con, because you have a hotel. That hotel is just the hotel for Dragon Con. We talked about all the good. You know, hey, here's this. What would you say was the most challenging part about doing a style show like this versus doing just a mainstream anime show? What were the struggles you guys had doing Holiday Matsuri? Well, that's a good sign.
It's not like it's been easy. It's not been peachy or anything the entire time. It's been a lot of growth and learning along the way. And I know as someone, as a big lesson I had to learn as a business owner, and is to allow the event to grow was to give more control to people, because I was so used, like Crystal and I were so used to doing absolutely everything that Crystal like burnt herself out. I ended up taking on more and more and more, and then it just became too much. So it was finding those people like Zach and like Constance, like Brian, like Larry.
Who's got the screen on the background at the volume?
Yeah,
it's one of you.
I have mine muted.
Mine is completely muted.
I have mine exited out of now. Entirely.
Unless it's Daniel or Ken.
Unless it's Danielle. Yeah.
We got emergency meetings, son.
Gus, we
gotta kick out Blue, guys.
It's the big giant head no one sees.
Yeah, right. So
right now Danielle's throwing her phone around.
But basically, yeah, delegating those tasks, getting it going, and then like being, like you said, the person that didn't know those answers anymore.
Yeah.
Like, being willing to trust everyone with that. And it's been such a blessing. It's helped Hallmat grow the way it is our entire team, and it just keeps growing. I believe last year we had, I think the first year of Hallmat, we had a grand total of maybe 20 staffers / volunteers total.
Right.
Like the guy who ran our vendor room that year was a volunteer the first year. And I was like, hey, can you check vendors in? He's like, yeah, he ran our vendor room that whole weekend. And I think it was the second time he volunteered at a con. He was just capable. We connected. I was able to instruct him and go. Now, yeah, Zach does his whole thing. Constance does her thing. Brian, like everyone, our entire list, that was the
it's
thing,
been a
was just
trip
letting
trying
it
to
go.
get Greg to that point, because it's like, because the thing is that one of the things that I've had to do over the years is tell Greg, no, you're not going to do the entire convention. There are 100 people here.
Yeah.
You need to be able to run the convention, and we'll take care of it. If there's a problem, you come to us and we'll solve it. And that's been a challenge of getting Greg to realize that. So,
but I really enjoy it, really like it, and we're trying to change things up so it becomes even more like that, so that, because I feel it's the only way to grow the event. So I'm really proud of the entire team. Last year, again, first year we had like 20 staff. Last year I think we've had 220 staff members that help run the con. Again, that's a second hard thing is like with it being like blackout days for a lot of people and no vacation days.
Right.
Or we have a lot of staff members that literally go work their 9 to 5 job and then come work like 8 to 10 hours at Hallmat, sleep for an hour or two, go to work, and then come back. So we're having to interchange staff members for a ton of the convention. So I'm just really blessed. Yeah, we're really thankful to have everyone be able to do that.
That was one of the advantages at JCon and then FAE. And now I can say up in Portland, the show I bought up there, our Portland show, is Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
Was we stuck with doing that because it was a 3-day weekend. So our staffers who would work Sunday, we're trying to do wrap up at the end of the night. Everybody normally tries to, it's the crunch loadout of Sunday night before it's too late. Well, people aren't having to take Monday off if it's a holiday. So that's why we've stuck with weekends like that.
Yeah, that worked as we got older. Tom and all of us got normal jobs. When we all worked
Yes.
at Disney, and
Right.
Universal, that didn't work. So
Yeah, it was, you were the
It's what we
whim
did
of
in the later
mouse of the
years.
globe.
Mhm.
What's
So Zach, what was yours? I'm curious.
What was my what? I mean,
Your struggle with Hall, Matt. Your thing.
I mean,
Was it keeping the 18 plus stuff in line?
So I mean, the thing is that no, I mean, that is a thing, but there are other stories behind that. But I would say that probably the biggest struggle is that I'm an introvert normally. Like I get off of this and then I'm like, I am going to play Factorio and not talk to anybody for the next 20 minutes. So
Right.
it's been one of those things of developing my own battery about saying like, hey, I'm gonna be able to speak with about 1,500 people and be able to stand up on stage for all this time and be able to communicate with everybody. And I've learned over the years how to kind of get to that person that can be reliable with everybody and be able to trust Greg about making sure that we will speak about everything that we need to do and make sure that we're on the same
Mhm.
page with everything, and also to trust other people that they're going to do the things, because I mean, I hated group projects when I was a kid, so I always
Yeah.
like to do all of it by myself. But now it's like this one massive amazing group project that I get to hang out at the end, drink with some of the best people that I've ever known, and yeah, I get to have a lot of fun, and that's the reward there.
Zach was a super introvert. It was so funny. Just like,
And
hey,
it's
we're gonna do this and hold your hand through this. And then what was it, like 2008? No, the first year at the Marriott, 2016. I walked by main events room and they got him dancing on stage.
that was
Like never before would you see Zach up there.
oh yeah.
and I have friends and colleagues that are that personality type, and you kind of hit the term that I like to use when I talk about a lot, which is you have to recharge your battery as an introvert.
Yep.
And at the other end of the spectrum, I mean, I'm a high functioning
Extrovert.
very exact opposite. However, there's still, even at my level of quick, put me in a theme park in front of 1,000 people for 5 days, Tom will
Right.
just never shut up. It's still you have to go back and self-care. And
Well-
my thing I would always do at conventions, we're dealing with like AX or Fan Expo and these huge 100,000
Mhm.
people shows. The Anime Expo one is the funny story is the assistant that I had there knew I would disappear for 30 minutes. And in that 30 minutes of time, because I wasn't sleeping, I was going nonstop, I
Mhm.
would take a 20-minute shower, get out, change into a fresh t-shirt with the same clothes, and then go back out to work again. And because I was in California, it was for two reasons. One, I was dehydrated.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
need the steam because I'm used to this. But also it was I need to go into one room somewhere, the bathroom, where not a single human being is going to try to engage me in conversation because I continue. But I naturally respond. I have friends and I respect the hell out of you because I know the amount of effort it takes as hey, I'm not that personality, because you do. And when I see people like you and it's people on my team, our producers, one of them of I'm not that person, but I know I can be that person. That's damn respectable, sir. And that's a lot of work. And I know how much that takes. So kudos to you.
Yeah. All right.
And that was the most introverted answer I think I've ever gotten to a story like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, Tom, you were a Jaws skipper. I was a Jaw Crew skipper. I mean,
Yeah.
working spieling attractions were always the most draining, even though I maybe moved 2 feet over the course of an 8-hour shift.
You're talking.
You had to be
nonstop.
the funniest man on the
Right.
face of the earth, or you had to engage for almost every hour of that shift. So a 6-hour shift in the jungle would just completely drain me and not want to speak to anybody when I was done. And that's kind of thing. It's just that switch just can't keep it up. Well, some people can.